Hi everyone and welcome back to Finding the Summit. So we've been making this series for a few weeks now. We've told you a bit about the project, we've told you a bit about ourselves, and there's one thing we really haven't talked about as much yet, which is the physical challenge of climbing Mount Kilimanjaro. Kilimanjaro is recognised as one of the more accessible mountains for people who aren't professional or really avid mountaineers, but there are two main reasons that we really want to focus on getting into shape and being in good physical health before we leave. The first one, it's still climbing a very tall mountain, and the second reason is that we're going to have the added challenge of making a film as we're climbing the mountain. So when it comes to hiking and trekking, I really didn't come from a very outdoorsy family. I did grow up in the countryside, I grew up in the English countryside, but I just didn't have a huge interest in it as I was growing up. I remember I was kind of reluctant to go out on walks with the dog, and I remember when I was about 14 doing this outdoor challenge called the Duke of Edinburgh Award. If anyone's from the UK, you might know what I'm talking about. But one of the main things that you are marked on to get this certificate, this award, is going out and doing an outdoor trek and camping experience over, I think it's about 24 hours. And I did that when I was 14, but I don't know why I signed up to it, because I remember just really not enjoying the physical challenge. I didn't feel connected to nature. So hiking is kind of a surprising hobby for me that I didn't find until I was into my early 20s. I've never been the sporty girl. I did a bit of sports growing up. Honestly, I've never been able to find a schedule for doing something like running and really stick with it. So that's something that I've had to be really intentional and conscious about as we start training for this. Now, when I am doing training, I'm not as lucky as Émilie to live a few hours drive away from the mountains. What I tend to do, because I live right in the middle of the city, is go to the local park to go for a run. So since I live in the middle of the city, I don't have a backyard to run in, so I come to city parks like this one here. My training so far has been pretty simple. I've just been doing a lot of jogging and running, trying to get my heart and my lungs stronger. But I know that as I continue, I'm going to have to try and get my actual muscles stronger as well. Actually, climbing Mount Kilimanjaro is not one of the most physically taxing mountains that you can climb. The thing that causes most people most problems is altitude sickness, and that's something I have no control over as to whether or not I'm going to suffer from it when I get there. But what I can control is trying to do as much exercise and get my fitness up as much as I can before I go, so that I can just enjoy the climb more and be a lot quicker with those shots and getting my camera out. One thing that I am a little bit worried about physically is my knees. I do not have the strongest knees in the world. This year alone, I've had a couple of incidents where they've caused me some discomfort for a few days. But the best thing I think I can do there is try to build up the muscle around them so that they're prepared for something like a hike up Kilimanjaro. So what I've been doing is running every other day so that I have time to rest, my muscles have time to prepare, but I'm still getting stronger, getting fitter, and keeping consistent with it.
I'm about to go out for my morning run, so I figured I'd kind of chat to you guys on camera while getting ready. Aren't these just the cutest little breads? So the first thing I kind of wanted to chat about is how I've always kind of liked being outside and always liked hiking and that kind of stuff. Unlike Emily, which I'm sure she's going to tell you about, I started going on hikes and walks and all kinds of outdoorsy things as a young kid. I remember going camping as long as I can remember with my parents, and we'd always go hiking and on adventures, and then we got a canoe and then we'd go canoeing. So I live just outside of Edmonton, Alberta, and the Rocky Mountains are about 3.5 hours drive away from me. So whenever I'm there, I try to do hikes as much as I can. And the advantage of doing hikes as training to prepare for Kilimanjaro is you're working those same muscles to go uphill. And I also get to break in my gear. And what I've been doing is I pack my bag, and then that way I know that after hiking 3 hours in the Rockies, although that's not the same altitude and the same kind of terrain and everything, it's still uphill and you're still hiking, I'll know if my bag is actually comfortable. But going out for runs is something that I picked up, I think, in college or once I moved out by myself. Some days I actually have to force myself to go out, but once I'm out there, I do enjoy it, and I kind of find running meditative for me. The reason I'm telling you this is because this is what I'm doing to prepare to summit Mount Kilimanjaro. Because you're mostly just hiking for 6, 5, 8 hours a day, and it's not that much of a steep incline for most of the mountain, so you basically just need a lot of endurance. So it's more the long distances and altitude that are a challenge on Kilimanjaro.
So guys, I hope you've enjoyed this little insight into our physical training. It's something we're definitely going to keep you updated with. And if you have any questions about the physical side of climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, leave us a comment. We have got one veteran climber on our team anyway. Emily did the climb a few years ago. And don't forget to subscribe if you want to be kept up to date with our adventures and how we're preparing for the climb. It's getting sooner. The countdown is kind of on. We'll catch you in our next video, and thanks for watching. Bye.
I feel so stupid.
Okay. Okay.